So basically today what we're going to be going over is this setup that I found today. One of my favorite setups. It's early in the day, very profitable, easy to find. Happens a lot of the days that I see during the week. Not only that, if you are looking to get funded and be a funded trader, this is one of the best setups you can find. It involves ICT, fair value gaps, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity, and balances. And it involves no daily bias, right? So no daily bias is needed for this. We are on such a smaller time frame, right? So what does this setup involve, right? We see some type of market structure, right? So we see some type of market structure, and then we see liquidity taken out, right? So we have market structure with liquidity taken out. With this liquidity being taken out, I then look for a market structure shift, right? So for us to break this market structure shift, which was, as you can see, would be right here. If I was to just do a market structure shift, right? Us to come back down after this break of market structure and then hit a fair value gap before proceeding to target buy side liquidity points that we could be looking to target. Okay, so that's what it involves. Now with this setup, I look for this setup during the 9:30 to 11:30 time frame, Eastern time, right? 9:30 to 11:30 time frame. So where do I start? First, start off on the 15-minute time frame. So what do I do on the 15-minute time frame, right? 15-minute time frame, I look at the previous day, and I just look to see if we have any buy side or sell side liquidities that we had in the previous day, which is what I charted here, right? So we have this buy side liquidity with this relative equal high, and then we have this sell side liquidity with a relative equal low, right? After that, I then kind of see what kind of structure we have in the market, and what we see. As you can see, we had this balance point, and then we had kind of like a little bit of manipulation before the distribution side came. But what it is that I notice here is this fair value gap, right? I see this fair value gap, so I end up charting this on the 15-minute time frame. Once I have that charted, I then go into the 5-minute time frame. Okay, I then go into the 5-minute time frame. What I do on the 5-minute time frame, I look for any buy side and sell side liquidity points before this 9:30 open, right? So as you can see, we have this buy side here, which was a relative equal high that occurred at 7 a.m. Before this shift. And then we also had this sell side liquidity relative equal low that we saw here. That was at 2:50 a.m., which were the 2 points that I ended up marking. And then we end up also having this other sell side liquidity, which is another low that we end up having, right? Okay. Another thing I ended up drawing out was this buy side liquidity right here from the open. This was the high that we had so far. So this was a buy side liquidity, which I know is a target that I could be possibly looking for. So after I do all that and have these buy side and sell side liquidities on the 15 and 5-minute before this 9:30, I then dive in onto the 1-minute time frame, right? This is where things get good and things get interesting. So you guys remember that setup I told you that I was looking for, right? So we have this market structure, right? We have this market structure and we have liquidity being taken out, right? Sell side liquidity being taken out, correct? Now, after the sell side liquidity was taken out, what do we have next? We end up having this this movement up, come back down into this, what I like to call a fair value gap now, that you can then see here. It's very relevant on the 15-minute time, or on the 5-minute time frame, right? You can then see it if I show you on the 5-minute time frame. I believe this is the time frame that it's on. Yeah, you can see that we have this imbalance right here, which is something that I was looking for, right? So go back to the 1-minute time frame, right? We come back through to this imbalance, right? And then we break above, showing this market structure shift that I was telling you guys about earlier in the beginning of this video. We then, when we do have that market structure shift, we end up hitting this imbalance right here, which is where we end up having a wick touch, right? And then after this, we end up creating another point of highs, relative equal highs, which is where we have buy side liquidity before coming back down into this fair value gap, okay? Before coming back down into this fair value gap. So now that we're in this fair value gap, this is where I'm looking to take my entries, okay? This is where I'm looking to take my entries, okay? Back in this fair value gap. So what it is that I'm looking for, I enter right here, and the first target that I have is this buy side liquidity point. This is the first target to have, is the buy side liquidity, and then I need to figure out where I want to have my stop loss at, right? So with this, you can look for a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio or a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio targeting any buy-side liquidities or fair value gaps that you see on your chart. Okay, so here we have a 1 risk reward ratio. I kind of just went ahead and put my stop loss here, which made it a 1.24 risk reward ratio. And this is where my first target was, which was this buy side liquidity that we saw here from these relative equal highs, right? Before we came back down in this fair value gap. So this was my first take profit point. My second take profit point was this second buy side liquidity that we had from early in the day at 831, which was our relative equal high. Which was my second take profit point. Okay, so now we're looking at a 2.24 risk to reward ratio. This trade ended up executing perfectly. This is how it played out. I did leave some potential gains, right, that I could have compensated on, but I was happy with this setup. It was a quick 4166, 4178, quick 22 point movement that we found here. So I was happy with this setup. This was the trade I found. Like I said, one of my favorite trading setups. I would try testing this out, back testing it. It's perfect for those looking to, get funded accounts. Perfect for those looking to find setups early in the day without needing to find that daily bias. All right, so this was the trade setup. Thank you guys. We will have more videos like this coming in the future as well.